Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of DaShawn's, and we're back in the hot tub. It's been a while, a fucking long while, but we had to dig deep and finally get the first comedian in the hot tub. Woo! Matt McCarthy. And we're gonna have a first comedian. It's one of my favorite friends, Matt McCarthy of Conan O'Brien fame, Pete Holmes. Right. So let's get to the good questions. What is Pete Holmes like?
He's tall.
Tall. Easy questions.
Yeah. He's good. Thank you for having me in the hot
tub. Man.
Yeah.
We've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
Fellow PWG fan here. Wrestling. We know each other from wrestling shows.
Yeah.
How did you discover PWG and go into Reseda and the Globe, now tomorrow PWG?
God, I heard about Pro Wrestling Guerrilla before I even moved to LA.
Okay.
When I was in New York, me and Vince Averill.
Okay.
We watch wrestling podcast. That's right.
You send me merch all the time.
That's
I'm
right.
not a podcast guy, but this is the podcast I say to listen to. It's very entertaining.
Yeah.
Hot tub crew. We got the Hogan, our audience over here.
Hell yeah.
The non-racist Hogan here. We got the non-racist Hogan.
The non-racist Hogan. But yeah, the PWG was I had heard that was the hot new indie.
Yeah.
Because we were in New York, so we would go to Ring of Honor and Chikara.
The Hammerstein.
Yeah, and Chikara started coming to New York, and so they'd go to the Warsaw.
Okay. How'd you like the Chikara shows?
Oh my god, I loved it.
Who was your favorite Chikara guys? Shout out Jigsaw, definitely Fire Ant, The Colony.
Yeah, Claudio.
Claudio, definitely. And you were in the Claudio years. I wish I would have been in Reseda for Claudio. Just missed the Claudio years for me.
Well, I mean,
my first was DJ Sports 2012. What was your first PWG?
Is Your Body Ready?
Is Your Body Ready? That's a good one.
2013.
Wasn't that the Cole Iron Man match?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And we got Evan. We got two. Our audience is growing out here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
you know who we loved in Chikara was Eddie Kingston.
Oh yeah, Eddie Kingston. And how is it great? We both saw him on the Indies, but how great to see him now on TV and to see him have an action figure and feuding with Jericho.
It's crazy. He's a guy that it was once he when he was on NWA, the Billy Corgan thing.
Billy Corgan.
We were just thank God he's on TV and people can see him talking on a microphone. But the fact that he is on TBS on AEW is wild. So I'm happy for that guy.
And how great is that wrestling back on Turner? I'm 32, so there's been wrestling on Turner since I was 7.
Right.
So how crazy is now turn on TV and now get to show your kids wrestling on TNT and TBS?
Because when we had the Pete Holmes show on TBS, I tried my best to get any and every wrestling reference I could into any sketch that it was possible. So we did one bit where it was kind of like dad jokes or whatever, and it was something the punchline was something like these nuts, and I just started doing the suck it because I was I got to do something.
Man, it's not. We talked about this is all improv. I don't have no set questions. We did the Freedom Show. My favorite thing Freedom Show is the Street Fighter auditions. Tell us about that, and were you a writer or just a performer on the show?
I was a writer and performer on the show.
Tell us about the Street Fighter, and for people that haven't seen, the Street Fighter auditions are just some of my favorite ones, and also the X-Men ones are good too.
Yeah, those are it's one of the settings we did a lot of the sketches in was in a HR office.
Yeah.
And so it's everybody from Street Fighter 2 is getting called into HR. So I forget who all
I remember
Kumail was
the green one, Balky, not Balky. Balky's from Strangers.
Right. Balky.
Balky's out here fighting.
Blanca. So I was
Blanca.
And legit 3 hours in green makeup. Even when they took it off, when I went home that night, my toes were green for weeks. Kumail was I forget the characters' names, but the Indian dude.
Oh yeah.
What's his name?
Dallism.
Yeah. Joe McHale was Guile.
Alright.
and he was kind of a shithead that day actually because we had the
Let's go get Joe McHale mad at the hot tub.
the tape. Joel's great, but
Yeah, Joe's great. Yeah.
he apologized to Pete about doing this like many years later, like recently.
Yeah.
But like the tape, like we're in an HR office, so like Pete's got his desk.
Okay.
And there's all like the phone and knickknacks and like a clock and a lamp and all that shit. And when they wrapped Joel, like it was the whole day we're shooting these, and his was like right in the middle. And Joel's like, okay, so I'm done. Cool. Well, good luck with continuity. And he took his arm and just like smacked everything off the. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry.
It's our equipment.
Smacked everything.
Everything comes around.
Did I get anything wet? I didn't even think about it.
I think everything's high up in there.
Suddenly I'm the Joel McHale of the hot tub now. For real? You good?
Yeah, we're good.
I'm so sorry.
Hey.
But he pushed everything off at the desk, and then left, and then people were like, "What the fuck?" And so then they had to like put everything back. What else? Oh, Mark Paul Gosling was Ryu,
Yeah.
and he took it so seriously. Like, because I was in makeup the whole day. I was in there for like 3 hours.
He looks like he takes his craft seriously.
So everybody.
I think he's probably mad he's not an Oscar actor.
Maybe. But like he took it seriously in a fun way. But he was like the Hadouken. Like he did his research of what exactly he's saying, how to say it. The guy just cared, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. But like I was in makeup the whole time, so like I talked to everybody while they were coming in and out. Oh, I wish I could remember the name of the girl who played Chun-Li, but she was super funny. But yeah.
So what made you get into what made you get into comedy and do sketch comedy and all that? Who were some of your influences growing up?
I mean, it's all I ever wanted to do. I mean,
Sorry.
Uh-oh.
My dad never knows when I'm filming. Sorry, the hot tub dad. What we got to live with death?
Hot tub dad.
Hot tub dad.
Hashtag not
is out of
sponsored.
town.
Trademark that right now. Hot tub dad.
Hot tub dad.
Hashtag hot tub dad.
Don't
I
tell
mean,
me that.
my favorites when I was a kid was, the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
I'll be real. Everybody liked him.
Did you watch the Showtime thing with Camille Bell?
I thought that was like.
It was well done.
I thought that was like 5 stars. I thought that, and it wasn't just. He did it right too because.
You got to hit it head on.
But also you had to acknowledge what an important figure in the 20th century Bill Cosby is, and which makes the crimes so much more like devastating.
I think now, like, same thing you say with like Bill Murray now, like now all like his legendary style is coming to question too. There's allegations of him.
Right.
So now you gotta separate the actor towards like the allegations or whatever.
I guess it's, I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess it's case by case.
Yeah.
But I mean, like if Bill Cosby, like,
Just don't trust Bill. Like,
it appears he is a serial rapist, which is like, gotta be the worst thing in the world. But like, I always heard Bill Murray was like, just an angry dude.
And an odd fellow too.
And an odd fellow.
I guess when you're a Cubs fan, you suffered a lot, so you're very angry.
But yeah, I mean, like at least with some of the Bill, I don't know, like Gina Davis talking about Bill Murray, like he just sounded like a fucking, like a bully, but also thought he was being funny. But like, you're in that environment where there's nobody to tell you no. It's just.
Oh, then Seth Green's thing about Bill Murray.
Oh my God, what a story!
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
Because you got Seth Green, Bill Murray on TikTok.
Yeah.
Seth Green is an underrated, I think, actor too.
I think so.
Let's put over Seth Green randomly.
Yeah.
Like your favorite Seth Green movie. I love Without a Paddle. Rat Race is good. Or Idle Hands. Those are 3 good ones.
Honestly, Can't Hardly Wait.
Oh, that's a good class.
I love that movie. Right? I love that movie. And he was, I like that, and he really had, like, actually everybody in that movie had a character arc, but him especially, like dropping the front and, like, instead of just trying to be something that he's not type of deal.
90s teen romance movies were so good. From He's All That, Never Been Kissed. I think 90s, what do you more pick cinema? 90s or 80s? What do you prefer?
In general?
Yeah.
Probably 80s, but like I don't know that there's a single year like 1999, because it's just like, because I started, you know, like on TikTok, people were doing like their top 10 movies of the 90s or something, and when I sat down to try to do it, I realized that 1999 had to be its own separate list, and even that I could only narrow down to
off the top of my head, The
movies.
Mummy came out in 99. The Mummy started episode 1. That's 2 I can remember.
I mean, what's so funny is like, now I can't remember any of the movies.
Yeah, I remember The Mummy because The Mummy was so good, and The Mummy Returns, I think, is like the Terminator 2 of the Mummy movies. I think The Mummy Returns is like, they were Rush Hour 2, when the sequel was better than the first one.
Yeah.
Because no one remembers Rush Hour, and no one remembers Terminator, and no one remembers the first Mummy. Mummy 2, people remember more. The Mummy Returns. Well, the big, like, bus scene in London. The double-decker bus.
If I may interject.
Yeah, interject.
So, what do you call it? So with, shit. Oh, my God. Fuck. No, so Seth...
We gotta look in the camera.
So you think Seth... So there was Seth,
Green?
Seth
Seth
Green.
Green.
And there was the other guy who was like Seth Green, but like he was in Scream, but...
Matthew Lillard?
Oh.
Skeet Ulrich?
No.
Jamie Kennedy?
Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie Kennedy.
That's my dude, Jamie
okay.
Kennedy.
But no, okay, Jamie Kennedy and like Seth Green. Do you think Jamie Kennedy is like looking at like what Seth Green has done and kind of like,
It's the son of the masked mistake, and he talks about it on his YouTube.
Right.
It is like you're offered all that money to do that movie, and he thought it'd be such a big deal. You can watch it on his YouTube. But yeah, him explaining all that, because that year was Bounce Was Wanted, the Jamie Kennedy experiment. He was a hot commodity.
yeah.
And that got handed to him. Even him trying to go to Jim Carrey, and he asked about it, and he's like, Jim Carrey didn't care about doing that.
Yeah.
He's like, you can do it.
I think the difference, I mean, Seth Green has definitely, he's spun, I mean, as a child actor, he's, as far as I know, kept it together.
Yeah.
And then has spun his career into more of like the producing and stuff, which is, that's where the, like, some money is.
And definitely the Robot Chicken stuff has now made him like really financially secure.
And then Jamie Kennedy was always a stand-up and has that avenue, but
I think he's more about the hustle. I think he likes being on stage.
But his cameo, or just small scene, whatever you want to call it, in Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, when he's like pissing on the side of the road next to one of the characters, it's like the hardest I laugh. Like, and the early days of DVR, I lived in a house, and then Vince and Jesse Cobb had a place, and we both had DVRs. It was like an art form, just recording pieces of things, and then having this whole DVR full of just scenes from movies, and I would leave them sitting there for like my roommates to check out and stuff. And that one scene from Harold and Kumar was like one of the crowning achievements of just, you know, recording that and leaving it there for them to find. They're like, what the hell is this? Harold and Kumar, why is this here?
That's why I love YouTube, because they have the movie scenes YouTube channel. You just watch scenes from movies.
Yeah.
And one of the movies I love is Super Troopers, the meow scene.
Oh my God.
My dad is so good. The Broken Lizard troupe. We talk about great improv troupes. I think Broken Lizard is definitely an underrated troupe.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite improv troupe? It's a weird question, but as a comedy guys, there's different ones. You got your Second City. I know.
Probably, I mean, God, I mean, honestly, when my wife did musical improv, my wife Glennis McCarthy, before we got married, Glennis McMurray, her and Eliza Skinner, and they had different piano players But Travis, God, I haven't seen him in over 12 or 15 years. I can't even think of his last name. But they performed as I Eat Pandas. And they did musical improv. And it was legit the funniest shit I've ever seen. My wife is the funniest person I've ever seen. Like effortlessly funny. And in a way that like other people just can't even like touch. So I would have to say them. And Eliza's crazy funny, and she does more stand-up now, and like TV writing and stuff. But like crazy funny, the two of them. But they also came up in like that UCB, very like boys club type shit, and so they for as funny as they were, they still didn't get the props that they should have, like in that community. But then they were so undeniably funny that they were just, you know. But then eventually they were like, well, if you're not going to give us our own show at the theater, we're just going to go to some other theater and do our show. And then they did, and it was fantastic. They were so good.
Right. I was thinking the first time I've ever seen you, a sketch that really cracked me and my sister up for years, the Jeggings sketch.
Oh, yeah?
Jeggings sketch. Tell us about College Humor and some of your favorite times working there, or doing sketches for them. Definitely the HR stuff is always funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the jegging, the
Before
things.
Kanye really went over
Oh my God.
Yeah, that would have killed him.
I mean, it's like you can't even parody.
What Kanye's doing now.
Kanye now. The stuff that, because like I'm building my following on TikTok with like my videotapes and stuff, and then most of the comments are like, oh my God, it's Mr. S from the Jeggings. That gets brought up. The Nicolas Cage's agent, which then spun out into, you know, all those like Chris Brown's publicist, Kanye's publicist.
And then you were also Commissioner Gordon.
And the Batman ones,
The Batman ones are very funny. Those were some of your favorite ones of those. The Batman ones are my big homes, right? What are they called? They're called Batman or Batman?
What we started, there were Batman.
Okay.
And then, because it's anytime you're like, we just didn't want to get sued.
Yeah, you don't get sued about it.
So we're like, well, let's give it a parody name just to cover our asses a little bit more. So it's Badman.
Batman.
But those were, we wrote.
Okay.
I think Pete had the idea for the first one.
Okay.
Me, Pete Holmes, and Oren Brimmer did videos as front page films.
Okay.
And then we were making our own stuff. Me and Pete, all three of us would write. Me and Pete would perform, and then Oren was, you know, our, you know, the director and the editor, and knew what was possible and what wasn't. And when Pete came up with the first Batman idea, we were like, we want it to look good.
Yeah.
So we need to shoot it at night. We need to get a Batman costume. Where do you get a Batman costume? And then somebody had the idea, well, we're buddies with everybody at CollegeHumor. Why don't we pitch the idea to them? They'll pay for it, and then we can just move forward with the idea. And then the thing winds up going viral.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Smith retweeted it, Patton Oswalt, like it and this was like, Jesus Christ, like 15 years ago. It was before like Instagram.
Yeah.
And then CollegeHumor was like, let's keep making more of these. So I think my favorite one of those.
Because I remember the one where he's disarming the bomb. He's just doing everything sexual. He's licking. He's licking it.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was. I
was thinking this is funny.
Dude, so I'm Bane in that one.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm wearing like a skull cap and the Bane mask.
Yeah, you're Bane mask.
It was the little sound stage we shot that on. Like I think it was down in Boyle Heights actually.
Okay. Shout out Witch Underground.
Or up in Boyle Heights, I guess. It was summer, it was like 100 degrees outside.
Oh, damn.
It was like 105 inside. No air conditioning. And I couldn't take the thing off to take sips of water.
Oh, damn.
And we were dying. It was awful. It was so hot. It was awful. Pete almost, with the one where we did with the Riddler,
Okay.
Pete legit almost like had like heat stroke because that rubber suit just like you're trapped in the it's like he would take off the Batman cowl and literally be pouring sweat out of it. God, those were brutal, but so much fun. We would have so much fun just riffing.
And yeah, and how much of that is improv and how much of that is written?
It's all written, and then once we're there, especially when you get me and Pete together, we could just improvise for days together. I mean, like when we did a couple, because we tried to like pitch ourselves to like brands, like, oh, we'll do branded content.
Okay.
So like we made some like fake kind of like, I don't know, videos to pitch to brands.
Okay.
And so we did one in a grocery store once where Pete's the checkout guy and I'm buying stuff. And that was some of the most pure, like me and Pete stuff. Like we had a couple ideas going in, and then as we were doing it, we would come up with more ideas or like improve on the ideas as we're doing them. We probably have hours of B-roll of that stuff. Or like the hotel series. So like we entered the Doritos make your own commercial Super Bowl contest, and we got in the finals, so we got to go to the Super Bowl for free.
Oh, nice.
And so we're like,
what Super Bowl?
I think the Steelers won.
Okay.
It's whichever one Bruce Springsteen played the halftime show. Our first thought was free hotel room. Let's start coming up with sketches to do in a hotel. And so, again, it's like, as soon as we saw the room, we're like, oh, we could do this, we should do this. And those were always my favorite. Like, typically we would type things up and be like, here's the script. But I think our best stuff was always when we just had a setting.
Yeah.
And then we were like, what can we do and think on the fly and shoot things on the fly? So much goddamn fun, absolutely.
What do you think makes sketch comedy good or bad? Because SNL is the top. Then you have like Mad TV, SCTV, Kids in the Hall. What makes good sketch TV and bad sketch TV?
That's a good question.
I watched the documentary on Dana Carvey's show, Too Funny to Fail.
Yeah.
Great documentary, Too Funny to Fail.
Yeah.
Like, you had all that great ingredients like on that show, and it just didn't work. Like, it's been shown you can put everybody good on a show. Chevy Chase show, they worked hard to get people on that. Because a talk show is a sketch show. Like we got to talk about Conan O'Brien.
Yeah. I think the cheap answer is what makes it work is if it's funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so many ways to be funny, and with a sketch too, it's like sometimes you don't even need to write an ending. Like Monty Python, there were some sketches where it's just like, okay, we're stopping the sketch here.
Like that bird sketch they did on a snake.
Right. So I don't know what I mean. What makes it bad is if there's nothing to latch on to.
Yeah.
You know, if something's boring or meandering or just, what is this? Because sometimes it doesn't even need to have a point to be funny. Sometimes, like, the most absurd, pointless things are the funniest sketches.
And definitely, who I think of is R.I.P. Trevor Moore. Whitest Kid You Know is my shit.
Yup.
Well, do you have any favorite sketches from Whitest Kid You Know? I have some. It was so good growing up because it's just out there humor, and it always worked good.
Yeah.
And Barbarian's from one of the guys from there.
Yeah, Gregor.
Gregor did Barbarian, which is fantastic.
Right, right.
Oh, Barbarian, man. It's Super Dad or X for best horror movie. We'll get in the horror movies soon. Let's go back to that.
I love those guys. I miss Trevor.
Yeah.
I was buddies with those guys in New York. I was in the Civil War on drugs. I played a Union soldier.
I guess you're always in the background to get that mug on your
right.
I was getting my face on the sketch.
So I would see them around all the time, or like at pianos. I think my favorite sketch on their show was the reenactment of Lincoln being assassinated.
Oh yeah, we used to be an asshole, and it is like someone's better stop him.
Yeah. He's like, shut up, quiet, John. So and it's just something about him calling Trevor like a fat piece of shit when he's just like, he was like painfully skinny. He's just like, it was so ridiculous.
I know the one where he just has a bottle of PCP. The guy got his bottle of PCP. Hey, what happened to her? She just died. Like, that's the absurd things they did. And when IFC and it was on Fuse, then like that Miss March came out from that.
Right.
It was pretty decent movie.
Yeah, they were really bummed about that movie. Like the reception of it.
I was so hyped on it when it came out because I was a big fan of the show.
Yeah.
Where do you have some of the most underrated sketch shows? We talk about White Cheese, you know. What do you think's an underrated sketch show?
I mean, there was The Vacant Lot. I remember watching that on Comedy Central. That was really far out. Exit 57 was really cool. Like Stephen Colbert and Amy Sedaris were on that show. You know, you mentioned the Dana Carvey show. That was killer. I think that the before the state, I think is in comedy circles, it's never, you know,
The state
forgotten.
The state gave us Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah, exactly. And then before the state,
and it was Michael Schumacher did Good Place, and I just go on. My knowledge of my knowledge of wrestling's big. My knowledge of TV movies also huge. That's why I have this guy in.
But then that crew on the state, they were on You Wrote It, You Watch It.
Okay.
Before then, also on MTV. But Jon Stewart hosted that.
Damn, he knows more than me, man. He's just dropping things I need to see.
I got 10 years on you.
10 years.
That's all it comes down to.
Tell us about your feature on TikTok. We got the classic media over there. Tell us about why you need physical media over streaming. We've seen the Warner Discovery thing tear Final Space off and a lot of content out. So preach physical media here. That's why we brought you in the hot tub. We brought VHS out.
Yeah, I love that.
We got the VHS king here, man. VHS, man.
Physical media is king, baby. Because no one can take it away from you.
Yeah.
Nobody can take it away from you. You don't have to spend 10 minutes Googling a movie and try to figure out where it's streaming. There's no... I mean, look at like with HBO Max, they like cut all that shit. Like
over 34 animated shows.
Dude, they deleted like 200 episodes of Sesame Street. That just feels like a sin. That feels wrong. And
now we got like Sesame Street and then the Peanut stuff going to Apple, like people trying to own our childhood, own the childhood of people. And then people got mad that Peanuts wasn't on regular TV. People like almost rioted. They're like, oh, the Peanuts is on TV.
And like Disney like changes stuff. You know, they've like edited movies.
Added things. You remember Star Wars?
Oh.
Well, what I grew up with was the box set like from 97, 96.
Yeah.
Where it would have the George Lucas interview before, which I would have to fast forward. It'd be like the long one. Like, I don't want to hear him talk because I want to watch the movie.
Yeah.
It'd be like every movie would have this like long introduction. Here's why I re-edited it in faster.
But yeah, man. I mean, plus it's like there's so much stuff that's not on streaming.
WKRP Cincinnati, which is not on streaming.
Right.
Because of music rights and copyright law, which no one really knew. That's why I had to go in and remaster all Baywatch.
Yup.
Which is crazy to remaster. You put that shit in 1080, it's fucking ridiculous. It's bad to me, but it's fun to watch. You got your Baywatch episode.
There's a lot of the same with the Muppet Show. There's several episodes of the Muppet Show that aren't on Disney because of the music licensing shit.
Yeah. Muppet Babies.
Muppet Babies.
They own Star Wars now. I used to have the VHSs of Muppet Babies. Well, they have the new one, which is all CGI'd. I hate when they do that. They ruin Garfield, and they ruin Alvin and the Chipmunks, making them monstrosities with the fucking animation.
Yeah, no good. My son didn't even like them.
I know Nickelodeon is owning Garfield, but yeah, they put Nick All-Star Brawl is pretty dope. You play Nick All-Star Brawl?
Oh yeah.
It's very fun. Who do you play with? I love to add voiceovers to that.
Mm-hmm.
which is good. We're always playing at All-Star Brawl over here at Casa Scoville.
Yeah. The hot tub.
Tell us about the road on life as a stand-up and tell us how that is.
I don't love like traveling, and so I've
so you
never.
just do local clubs and stuff?
Right. So I've never, and it works out because I just take performing where it leads me.
Nice.
I've always made a living doing acting stuff anyway.
Nice.
So I've never really, I didn't like performing on the road. So then, there wasn't a need to. Plus, then being on the road, I would miss auditions.
Oh yeah.
So then it was more conducive to just perform in town when I was in New York or now I'm in LA. Actually, this week is the 10th anniversary of moving to LA.
Very happy anniversary. Then we got fitting in the hot tub.
And now I made it.
Hey, man.
I made it finally.
What was the decision to come to LA from New York, and what is the comedy scene in New York?
The comedy scene in New York is great. I mean, it's changed a lot since I was there. And it's changed a lot here since I've been here. But like the move was just inevitable because it's like this is the place where I knew I would wind up. This is where I wanted to be, and the opportunities that I needed are all here, or more of them are here than anywhere else. And so we lost the lease on our apartment, and we were like, well, if we had to move, might as well just leave New York and go to LA. And everybody I came up with in comedy in New York had moved out here anyway.
Yeah.
So it was like, it kind of felt like I didn't know anybody in New York anymore.
And then Conan shot here. And tell us about your times working there.
Yeah.
Some favorite moments there. You're on the final episode. Now Conan's enjoying retirement.
Yeah.
Whatever he's going to do now.
He's got an HBO show. I guess that's supposed to be starting. Nobody really knows.
No one knows what's happening on Discovery. But they got James Gunn head of DC, which I love. James
that
Gunn.
should be interesting. But Conan's super cool. I love all the writers there, or that were there. Andy's the best. And then that came from, the Pete Holmes show followed Conan.
Okay.
And then when that ended, kind of almost immediately, a couple of the writers were like, oh, well, maybe McCarthy would be good for this sketch.
All right.
And then more people would be pitching me, and then Conan really liked me, and then it became a pretty regular gig. I would be in there, and not always, the sketches wouldn't even always make it to air.
All right.
But like, I would be in there sometimes once a month, sometimes more, which was great. And I loved, that might have been my favorite thing so far, like performing.
If people are on YouTube, what can they look up? Team Coco YouTube too. What are some of your favorite sketches that are on there?
There was one where there was like a panda who, like, I guess, they're always trying to get these pandas to have babies.
Okay.
In zoos. And so I guess a panda was born, and then somebody had the idea. I think Todd Levin wrote this sketch. Was like, yeah, but everybody's excited this panda's born, but what if he's an asshole? So then I played the panda like he's an asshole, and I'm just doing all this asshole stuff, and then I drive my little go-kart into the studio and flip off Conan and stuff. So that one's super funny. Probably the funniest one I was in was the Jingle Wizard or the Jingle Doctor. I'm not sure what it's called, but it is Andre Dubuchet wrote it. It is one of the most absurd, funny, just purely funny sketches that I've ever seen, and I got, I'm so grateful that I got to even be in it. But I made a playlist on my YouTube of like,
oh, nice.
Of as many of my Conan sketches as I could find.
And what's your YouTube to plug right here?
Fat Boy Matt.
Fat Boy Matt.
That's right, baby.
We got PVG tomorrow. What are you looking for? Are you going to PVG tomorrow night?
Oh, big time.
What are you looking for tomorrow night? PVG. What have been some of your favorite matches and moments from Merceda and the Glove since we have our big PVG march here?
Well, tomorrow night I'm definitely looking forward to the main event. Gresham and Garcia should be sick. I'm looking forward to the women's match. I wish that Super Dragon booked more.
What women would you like to see in the ring? I know I love to see my girl Alley Catch in the ring.
Oh, hell
Dark
yeah.
Chic.
Hell yeah. Fuck. I mean, who else? Goddamn, there's like... Well, I mean, anybody from AEW, I think, is fair game. So, like, Evil East.
Jamie Hayter.
Jamie Hayter is maybe my favorite wrestler right now. She is so good.
So good.
She does everything right in the ring. It's unbelievable. And like, her attitude is on the money. Her look is awesome. I think she's great. I mean, my dream match right now is Jamie Hayter and Rhea Ripley.
I'll have to give her.
I think Rhea's killing it on Raw. I wish that she was involved in more of like a feud where she could wrestle.
Yeah, intergender for her would be good.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
I don't know if Triple H is going to change things. What do you think Triple H has changed things for the good now? But Triple H in charge. Vince is out. What do you think he's done? How do you rate his job so far?
He's doing good. I mean, it's still WWE.
Yeah.
I think that the small changes, it's kind of like what we were talking about before with like when Coppola re-edited Godfather 3.
Yeah.
Just those small little changes make a big difference. So I think H is doing a good job with that. I think that he's still, I think he's in a unique position because he's getting to do the kind of hot shot, like re-debut thing of like everybody's either going back to who they were or like I think he's when I saw last night the Viking Raiders like vignette, like teasing that they're going to be tough guys again. I'm like, he's really milking that for all it's worth of like re-debuting Nikki Cross, like turning Eli Drake back into LA Knight.
And mentioning it from Hollywood. Giving Michael Cole the freedom to mention ever shit. So Michael Cole, all that knowledge is unleashed.
Yeah.
Because Michael Cole is not just a shill. He's like a Mike Tenay. Michael Cole is a legend. I'm a commentator myself.
Yeah.
So Cole is a legend. And definitely him being able to mention a lot of things now that he couldn't before.
Yeah. No, dude, let me tell you something about Michael Cole, too, is people don't appreciate how good he is just listening to him.
Yeah.
But, like, I used to work there, so, like, I was on headset, and I heard Vince yelling at him, and Cole, like, not missing a beat and still fucking filling that air. Like, Michael Cole is unbelievable at his job.
I remember I did commentary with Lenny Leonard, great guy, and he did commentary for one of the Evolve shows, and that's the first time we had a monitor, and he called all the Evolve shows, and Michael Cole's like, how did you call the shows without a monitor? He just knew what the guy was going to film, and that's how he did it.
Wow.
Working about a monitor is so hard on commentary. Speaking of commentary, I do commentary at GCW. You've been in the audience there. How you like the GCW shows? How you like the UCC? Me and Pete saw him, Ukrainian Cultural Center, the White Claw Center, we call it. Yeah.
I love it. GCW is my favorite company right now.
Yeah.
I love going to the shows. I love. I want to find out what the hell was in that letter that Alley Catch opened. She ran out of the damn building. I went running after her. I was the only one who ran out after her to make sure that she was okay. And I saw my buddy Carlos smoking a cigarette outside. I was like, "Did you see Alley Catch? You see where she went?" He's like, "Yeah, man. She went around the corner that way. What the fuck's going on?"
And
I'm loving it. That cage match was sick the other night.
Oh yeah, Starboy and Juicy.
Fucking Juicy.
And now everything. What do you think about the new announcement? Fight Plus for only $5 a month. You can see GCW, AIW, and Black Hole Pro and more. Kickboxing and random 70s kung fu too. $5, man. You can see all library and all the matches I've called, which is great. Alex Zane versus Blake Christian, one of my favorite matches as well. Man. That was to see the return of the God, the King, Nick Gage. And I was being in his presence. Like, I'm in the locker room with him, and it's just a great dude.
Yeah.
Tell us about the legend of Nick Gage. What do you think of Nick Gage?
I love Nick Gage. I think the first Nick Gage match I ever saw was him and David Arquette.
Oh yeah, funny story. Like when he comes, so I'm friends with Brett. So I'm bringing all the guys over for a show. So first group comes like Penelope Ford, Deppin, D'Amato, and like KTV come. Then the second batch comes. So there's the other way you come to the house. So I see Jimmy Lloyd coming. Okay, Brett. I never met him before. Nick Gage is there. Nick Gage, first thing he says in my house, like, I'm killing motherfucking Dave Arquette. And I'm like, and I'm Dave Arquette's friend, and I convinced Dave Arquette to do GCW. You can ask David this. You can fact check me. I was at his house. I was with my buddy Eric. I'm like, hey Eric, you could listen to GCW, and like we were like,
I know Eric.
Yeah, little Eric's the homie. He's like, yeah, I think we could convince him, and we were gonna have him lost in New York. It was gonna be Ethan Page versus Dave Arquette, but then he broke his ribs doing lucha in Mexico. Because I had first class tickets with David too, in New York. And
Did he do it doing those topes through the fucking ropes?
Yeah, when he was
catching
doing,
his leg?
when he was doing what it was on documentary. One time he FaceTimed me from Mexico here, and I passed the phone around. People asked him questions, and he let people do it.
I love it.
Yeah, Dave Arquette. Have you met David?
I did, yeah. We had him on when we did our podcast at the first Starcast.
And he's a swell, but dude,
he came by the table. He talked with us for a while, yeah. But I think that our Zoom got fucked up, so I think that might have been one of the interviews that we lost. Him and RJ sat down with us for a little bit.
We had the hot tub one, being him, and we didn't unbox WCW cards. I think that footage got lost too. His shorts are here. I think my friend like stretched them out. Well, he's laughing. You're the second big name. Well, we have a lot of big names, but outside of wrestling, we try to expand our horizon. And you are great. I love comedians, and comedy is such an art form, and to dive more into it. Comedy and wrestling, how do you think they mesh? I think they're like peanut butter and jelly. It's like Reese's, man.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just the philosophies of both are the same. It's comedy and wrestling. It's their art. They're about the pursuit of justice. Wrestling is about the little guy fighting the big guy, the good guy fighting the bad guy, trying to put right what was wrong. Comedy is whether you're talking about, my wife, my car, the president, or kids today. You see something wrong with the world, and you're trying to bring other people into your point of view.
And you can compare sketch comedy to wrestling too. It's improv, relying on other people. Putting together a match, I'm pretty sure it's like putting together a sketch.
Right. Yeah, I think the only difference is there's no fourth wall with wrestlers.
Yeah.
They acknowledge that the audience is there.
And definitely. Then people take bumps in comedy. We were talking about this in the car. Like, I think the bumps for for comedy, like Chevy Chase and Chris Kattan, like taking those falls, I think that's hurt their career. To definitely had to rely on pain pills too.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like physical comedy, like I think the king is Buster Keaton. Yeah. His shit.
You gotta watch Hats Off Entertainment.
100 years old and it holds up.
Have you seen Hats Off Entertainment? Hats Off Entertainment does like a lot of good on Buster Keaton, Laurel Hardy, a lot of guys. W.C. Fields.
Oh yeah.
The first big Hollywood scandal.
Oh, Fatty Arbuckle.
Fatty Arbuckle, yeah, talking about him, yeah. People don't realize the silent film era, then go into the studio.
Yeah.
I'm now, what's going to horror? I've been binging Universal monster movies. So tell me some of your favorites.
Monster movies?
Universal movies. They're on the Peacock and the Criterion Channel.
Yep. I mean, Universal, I showed my son. He's going to be 7 tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Happy
I
birthday.
showed him on Halloween. I showed him Bride of Frankenstein.
Okay.
He loved it. I think that one might be my favorite. Creature from the Black Lagoon.
I enjoyed Son of Frankenstein. It was really good.
Yeah.
And The Invisible Man. I love Vincent Price.
Mm-hmm. The House of Frankenstein.
I need to get to that one.
That one's really good.
I'm on Frankenstein meets the Wolfman.
There you go. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein is, maybe the best horror comedy ever made. I don't know, like that and Ghostbusters or Beetlejuice.
You can go Gremlins.
Shaun of the Dead. Yeah.
There's some horror comedy. It's such a great genre.
And it's hard. It's hard to pull off.
The Invisible Man film is really lean into that. Definitely The Invisible Man Returns. That's just like the bumbling cops in those movies are funny.
My son loves
It's a monster indeed.
Man. Yeah.
The monster indeed.
But I watched a lot of Vincent Price movies with him over the...
Have you shown 13 Ghosts to Scooby-Doo?
No, that's a good call.
Yeah.
He loves Scooby-Doo.
What's your favorite version of Scooby-Doo? I'm partial. I love the Pup Named Scooby-Doo and the original Scooby-Doo. Those are my two favorites. Yeah. I think Pup Named Scooby-Doo needed more seasons. Like, the animation style there is so good. You can go back to it, I think.
Mm-hmm. I like the original, like Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?
Yeah, those are solid.
But I love the like the TV show, the movies, the Scooby-Doo movies. So like when they did them and Batman, or them and the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh yeah, the new Scooby-Doo movies.
Yeah, yeah.
And also recently they did Scooby-Doo Guess Who. Those have been good. They're on Boomerang.
Then there was one. What was the one? Is the 13 Ghosts? Is that the one where it's just him and Daphne?
It's him, Daphne,
and Scrappy.
It's Scrappy, Shaggy. They did the follow-up movie. They're like, Velma and Fred are like, where were we? And then they have the statue of Scrappy, like, we never speak of him again. Then they have the kid, I don't know, their version of Short Round.
Who was his?
Their Short Round. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Didn't he have a stupid cousin with like a,
Oh yeah, we have
a red hat?
Oh yeah, what was it? Dumb Dude. What was his name? Damn it! I saw it earlier.
Scooby Dumb or Dummy Dude?
Yeah, Scooby Dumb. What do you think of Scoob? Do you think it was good or bad?
Oh, I liked it. You know, I enjoyed it. I love the fact that they incorporated, you know, is it Wonder Mutt? Who's the robot? Dynamite. Yeah.
But that's some people's criticism about it. It became more about Blue Falcon than Scooby. Because
I get that.
I'm a part of Scooby Facebook groups, and that's what they argue about, I guess. There's Scooby Facebook groups. There's Facebook groups about everything.
I mean, I'm the type of dude I don't...
They're based by Scooby Facebook groups.
Like, I don't mind that shit. Like with Black Adam, like it was almost like a Justice Society movie, but I was like, I loved that the Justice Society was in it. So like I loved, I liked Scoob pretty good. I thought Dastardly was pretty fucking funny, you know.
But now Scoob Holly Hunt won't come out because the tax laws and shit. And it was supposed to be Knives Out meets Scoob. That's what the director described it.
And that got killed like with Batgirl?
Yeah, it got put in the vault and they can't release it because they got their money back.
Streaming, baby.
It's a weird tax law.
Alright, plug your stuff.
But, so the cameraman's giving the wrap up. We've been talking for a while. I don't know how long, but plug your stuff. And I'll plug realcomicsfur.com and then plug your social media.
At McCarthy Redhead, all forms of social media, TikTok, Instagram. If you're interested in videotapes and DVDs, check out my TikTok. I have a huge video collection. I'm always showing it off and talking about blank tapes that I find with no labels, and we watch what's on them. And then the We Watch Wrestling podcast, new episodes every Wednesday. We're coming, next summer is going to be our 10th anniversary, so we're very excited about that.
We do a podcast in the hot tub.
Hell yeah. You got to get Vince in the hot tub.
Yeah. It definitely, come on down.
Yeah. And if you like movies and TV shows and TikTok, watch it with Matt and Glennis. That's my podcast with my beautiful and talented wife.
It's been a pleasure. Matt McCarthy, DaShawn's 2cents, realcomics420.com, Pete Terrell on the camera. Peace.
Yeah.
Did it!